Step onto the back of your mat and bring yourself into child pose, balasana or garbhasana, like a fetal child. So you're coming down onto your shins. Press your hips back over your heels. Use your hands pushing the ground away with your arms long in front to help bring your hips back over your heels. You might need to take your knees out a little wider to be able to rest your head on the ground or on your hands. And take a moment here to settle down, to arrive on the mat in your body, letting go of whatever came before, whatever you think might be coming next, and bringing yourself present. Notice how you feel. Physically, any tightnesses, any concerns in your body, mentally or emotionally, any concerns or distractions. And as you deepen your breathing and you shift into Ujjayi Pranayam, your ocean-sounding breath, allow the exhale to release, to let go of distractions, concerns. And allow each inhale then to bring energy in, awareness inwards. There might be something that you'd like to specifically draw in, a type of energy. Taking the next couple of breaths to exhale what you don't need and inhale what you would like. Use the expansion of your next inhale to uncurl and come up to kneeling. If your knees are out wide, you may need to bring them closer together for stability. Let your arms come out and up overhead, down along your midline, bringing your hands together at your heart in Atmanjali Mudra, connecting into your higher self, your Atman. And we'll tune in with Om Namo Gurudev Namo. If you're joining in with your voice, breathe in for the first of three. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev. And as you exhale, bring your hands forward, step your right foot forward by your right hand. Coming into your low lunge with your right knee over your ankle and your feet in line with front hips, so you're not on a tightrope. Then curl your back toes under your left toes, and imagine you have a strap under your back thigh, and as you inhale, it's drawing your back leg up towards the sky, so you're coming into your high lunge. Lengthening through your back leg, feeling a long line through your back heel, your long leg, through the spine, and out through your head. Hips about level with your bent right knee. With that and the lift and length of your left leg, see if you can take some of the weight out of your hands. Even if you need to support in your hands, draw them back level with your right heel so your shoulders can reintegrate to your back and your neck is clear. As you wake up the bigger muscles in your legs, breathe deeper to support them with the oxygen they need. With your next exhale, so tune into your breath, with your next exhale, step forward with your back foot. Take however many steps you need. Find your feet underneath you, about a fist width apart, some mountain or Tadasana stance. Then bend your knees a bit and uncurl your spine. Take your time to come up. Then bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your low back and draw your low belly in and up, just like we did when we were practicing mountain pose, Tadasana. And feel how that supports your low back and lengthens it. Keeping your hands there, find out how to breathe even though you're engaging through your core. Bend your knees and look down and see your big toes inside your knees so you know your arches are lifted and your knees are tracking out over your middle toes. Now, keeping your feet and your belly lifted, lift your head in line with your spine and stick your butt out behind you, like you're trying to find a seat that's behind you and you're reaching for it with your bum. And notice when you do that, when you aim your butt back, that increases the curve in your low back, so increase the support in your low front, in your belly. Keep drawing your belly in so that you're supporting that curve in your low back and it feels strong. And once you find your depth, where it feels like you're taking your weight back and your weight shifts out of your toes, not because you're lifting them, but just because you're shifting your butt back and the weight drops into your heels. And you can start to feel your thighs waking up. You know your core is strong and supporting you. Then release your arms down by your sides and stretch your fingers down so your shoulders are broad on your back. As you inhale, bring your arms up shoulder level and wide enough with your arms that your chest is open between your arms. And with your arms here to help you balance, you might find you can come a little deeper. You can take your hips down and back a little bit more. So feel for where's the depth, where's the intense place. Utkatasana translates into intense pose. So find the intensity, the heat in your thighs where you can still breathe steadily. This posture looks like a lightning bolt, so there's still strength in it, in those angles and thighs. Keeping the back of your neck long, shoulders on your back. Use your next exhale to fold forward, and as you fold forward, lift your toes, lift your kneecaps, and as you draw your legs up long, bring your arms behind your back, interlace your fingers, palms facing each other, and release your spine and your head down. Visualize as you come into Standing Yoga Mudra that you're inhaling from your feet up, lifting the toes, all 10 toes up, lifting the arches, lifting the kneecaps up. Front of the legs lifted up, sits bones at the back lifting up, tilting up away from the heels. And then exhaling and releasing your spine down, your head down, drawing your arms away from your back. So engaging your upper back muscles to bring the arms closer to each other. Feel for where your weight is over your arches instead of sinking into your heels. If you have any fear in your low back, continue to engage your belly into your low back. If that doesn't seem to minimize the fear or any sensation that feels destructive for you in your low back or upper back of the thighs, then bend your knees a bit. However, with this stretch, the longer you can take your legs in front, the more you can lift your kneecaps, the more you'll create a stretch in back in the hamstrings. So find your safety. Give that one more breath. One more inhale to rise up through long legs, and one more exhale to release down through long spine, letting the weight of your head drop towards your toes. And the next time that you exhale, release your arms, unlace your fingers, bend your knees, bring your fingertips down on either side of your toe tips as you release them, and stepping back now into your high lunge on the left. So take your right foot back, take up most of the mat, take a big step, reach back through your right heel, checking that your feet are still front hip width apart, so you haven't stepped onto a wobbly tightrope. As you align your left knee over your ankle, slide your hands back by your ankle so your shoulders clear. Use your arms to help you until you find more lift and strength in both legs, pushing the ground away with the ball of your left foot by lifting your toes, and lengthening and lifting your back thigh and your low belly. Feel for a long line from between your head and your right heel, taking the bend out of your right knee and any swaying out of your low back. So a long line from your head right back through your right heel. Use your next exhale to push off with your right foot and step forward, however many steps you need. And as you step forward, find your feet. You're right down there where your hands are. You're looking down, so see your feet. Get them set up, because that's all that's on the ground. And your whole foundation of your posture starts from what's on the ground. So getting your square mountain stance, feet parallel, roughly a fist width apart, and then uncurl once you've set your foundation. Bringing yourself up to standing, roll your shoulders down onto your back. Bring one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your low back. We're going to move into Utkatasana again. So finding the length in your low back, and as you feel that support and you're still breathing steadily, bend your knees and stick your butt out. Aim it way back towards the back edge of the mat. Feel how that affects your low back and reiterate the lift and the support of the core. And once you find your depth, how much you can take your butt back and yet keep the support and the length in the low back as it curves. Then bring your arms down, stretch your fingers down. Look down and see your big toes inside your kneecaps so you know your arches are lifted, your knees haven't collapsed inwards. And as you're ready, lift your arms up in front, float them up to shoulder level. Broaden them so that your chest is open, shoulder blades are on your back instead of on your front. Feeling or seeing that your knees still haven't rolled in and feeling for your depth. You can go to the point of having your thighs parallel to the ground in this posture, which is fairly intense. So find where you feel in this chair pose, intense pose, that your thighs are waking up, and they're waking the lungs up because they're requiring more oxygen. If you want to take it a little deeper, you can take your arms up higher with your palms facing each other instead of the floor. It's really easy here, though, for your shoulders to creep up. So if that's happening, keep your arms shoulder level and think of your shoulder blades magnetically drawn towards the back edge of your mat so your heart space stays open. And work with where you're strong and integrated, keeping the support of the core all the way around, and the shoulders are broad on the back. Next time that you exhale, follow your breath, release forward, Standing Yoga Mudra again. So as you release and fold your upper body forward, lift your toes, your kneecaps, your sits bones up. And as you interlace your fingers behind your back, change the lacing. We tend to get into habits and do the same thing each time. So slide all your fingers over so your other thumb is on top, palms facing each other. And then draw your arms towards each other and up away from your back. Visualize your breath in your body to help you find the depth and to stay connected into what you're actually feeling. So think of inhaling and suctioning the breath up out of the ground, lifting your toes, your arches, your kneecaps, your sits bones and back, growing your legs really long. And then exhaling from that height at your hips down through the length of the spine. So each breath you get a little longer through the legs and the spine. And using that exhale where you release the spine to draw your arms away from your back, like you're leveraging yourself deeper, letting your head release down. Yoga Mudra means the symbol of yoga, and so the symbol of all of the yoga practice, because you're releasing your head, elevating your heart above your head for once. Use your next exhale to release by releasing your arms, unlacing your fingers, bend your knees, relax your toes. Bring your hands down behind your heels so you can help bring your hips behind your heels. We're going to come back to where we started at the beginning of this level with the spinal flex. Legs out in front, knees bent, holding behind your thighs. Draw your heart up as you inhale and roll back as you exhale and see how you feel. Has anything changed from when you first did the spinal flex? Inhaling, drawing up, lifting the sternum up, lengthening the front body. Exhaling, letting the back body curve by tucking your belly in, letting your head drop forward. Check when you lift up the next time that your feet are parallel. They line up with each other. Your knees are in line with your feet. So you have those good, long, symmetrical lines through your legs. And then as you draw up, we're going to move into Upavista Navasana, upward facing boat, just like we did at the beginning of this level. So find the lift and the length of your core and the angle that you need so that your sternum lifts up, your belly is open, and then take your upper weight back, tilt back until your feet lift off the ground. And as you add that balance element in, check, where's the breath gone? What's happened in the low back? If you're not sure, take one of your hands off and feel that your low back has its natural inner curve supported by the strength of the back muscles, but also the side waist and the core. And then play with how high can you take your feet. Move slowly so you can feel where does that affect. If you bring your mind down into your low back, when is the low back affected by the lengthening of the legs? Play at that edge. And when you find that edge and you can support it without the arms, take your hands off. Imagine you have blocks under your hands so that you can press down into them so you don't shorten your waist. Continue to lift up through your sternum. Slide your shoulders onto your back, feeling the long line from your tailbone to your head, front body open, and feeling how the thighs have to work to hold the legs up. Use your next exhale to release, taking your legs out long in front. Flop them side to side like windshield wipers. And then once you've released your hips out, align your ankles with your hips and release down onto your back, moving into Savasana, corpse pose. As you bring yourself down long, if you have a blanket or extra clothing, gather them up to cover you so you know you won't get cold, as your body temperature will tend to drop when you're lying still. Even if you feel warm now, with about 5 minutes of resting, it'll drop down. So make sure you're going to be warm and comfortable. And then feel for alignment in your body so that your ankles are in line with hips and shoulders. Take a little stretch through the heels of your feet so that you feel more space opening in the backs of your legs. And then let your feet relax away from each other, out to the sides. If you have an eye pillow or something to cover your eyes, that may help you deepen this resting posture. Then turn your palms up and reach your fingers down away from your head towards your feet. So you slide your shoulder blades underneath you, but broadly, finding where your arms are not too close and they're also not too far. Gives you enough room to feel you have some space for your upper back. And then let your hands relax and notice when they relax, if the fingers curl or the arms roll in towards the body, and whether the left and the right feel like they're relaxing in the same way, or if one side holds in or curls in a little tighter. Check the natural curves of your spine. So notice if your low back feels too arched. If that's the case, shift your bum down towards your feet or out to the sides of your sacrum so you feel a little bit more space. And release through your low back. And with your neck, if you feel your chin is sticking up towards the sky, then tuck it down. If it's jammed down into your throat, creating a double, triple chin, then lift it up slightly. Feeling that you're not favoring one side of your head or the other, so you have the same sense of space on either side of your neck. With your eyes closed, allow them to relax. Allow the muscles of your eyes to soften behind the closed lids. So it may help to think of sinking back, letting your eyeballs sink back into their sockets. Letting your brain sink back into the skull. Letting the weight of your whole body, your head, your shoulders, hips, legs, arms, sink back into the ground. Trusting it to hold you. And in this release of your body, noticing how your breath happens. So continuing the awareness of the breath, but without doing it. Shifting from your conscious, ocean-sounding Ujjayi pranayama into whatever the breath is when you let it go. So one of the best places to see the breath is in your belly, noticing the little rise and fall of the belly. Allowing your mind to rest by turning your attention, your mind, in an easy way to the rise and fall of your breath in your belly. Allowing all that you've done in this practice to be integrated. So going from the extreme of engaging, lifting, aligning, to releasing into the alignment that you've created in this posture. Turning your attention inside and noticing any area of holding, of constriction. And trusting in this posture that there's nothing you need to do. You've done it, and now you can reap the benefits of it. So if you find your muscles or your mind, the muscle of your mind, is held tight, remember that this time is already carved out for you. There is nothing more you need to do. Allow yourself to undo, to be. And bringing your attention into your breath. If it's moved out of the breath, notice your breath in your belly, the rising and falling of the breath in the belly. Allow your body to stay relaxed and heavy so that all that changes is your breath. As the next expansion begins in the belly, the next inhale comes in, support it, add to it. Invite more breath in so that you feel your low belly and low back expand a little wider. And the next time that you inhale, breathe into the belly and low back and the low ribs, so each breath gets successively bigger, staying as relaxed as possible and minimizing the effort, but feeling for how you can allow the body to stretch open and bring more breath in. So the breath drops down into the pelvic floor and fills from there into the low back, the low ribs, and up into the upper ribs and up into the upper back and the chest and the collarbones and the neck. The next time that you inhale, visualize the breath rolling down through the legs and the arms and up through the neck into the head. Exhaling completely. As you inhale this next time, stretch actively through your arms and legs, taking your arms up overhead. You might need to take your arms wide if your shoulders are tight, and finding length between your hands and your feet so you stretch long. Inhale. And as you exhale, roll on over to your right side. Let your knees bend a little bit, your head rest on your arm or the floor. Use your left hand in front of you to press the ground away so that you can uncurl from your right side up to sitting with minimal effort without lifting yourself up by your neck and face muscles, using your arm and core strength instead. So as you come up to sitting, however you're comfortably tall, when you find the lift and length of your spine, stretch your fingertips down towards the ground so they just lightly touch the ground on either side of your body. You're not holding yourself up with your hands. Inhale and think of breathing from your sits bones, your seat, upwards. And as you exhale, let your right ear release towards your right shoulder and notice if the left hand wants to lift away from the ground. So keeping both hands even, both shoulders even, a sense of your waists long and even, so that you can really focus on that open side of your neck. And continuing to breathe like you were when you were lying down, of breathing into your pelvis, your belly, your low back, your low ribs, your mid ribs, your upper ribs, and at the fullest part of the inhale, expand the neck. And as you exhale, let your head be heavy. Notice if you're holding it. If you want to take this a little bit deeper, turn your palms up. Tuck your elbows in so you're coming into neck justice. Looks like Lady Justice with the scales. If that feels too intense and you tighten around the sensation or hold your breath, lengthen your arms again. Listening to your breath in your throat, so you're finding Ujjayi Pranayama as you breathe steadily and use the breath to create space in your neck. The next time that you exhale, let your chin roll down along your collarbones. Bring your hands to your knees. Hold on to your knees as you arch back and open through your spine by curving it, pressing all of the air out. Use your inhale to rise up, drawing yourself up. Let your elbows bend, sternum lift. Bring your hands out to the side so you're just lightly touching the ground again, preparing to come over to the other side. Release your head to the left. Feel for the stretch on the right side of your neck. Be sure it's breathable. Does it feel any different than the other side? Check that you're still evenly touching the ground, your waists and shoulders are even, your breath rising up into your neck. And if you want to turn your palms up, tuck your elbows in, find a little more depth, feel free to do that. Just be sure you can breathe. Give that open side of your neck one more inhale. As you exhale, release your chin down, arch back through your back, pressing all of the air out, holding onto your knees, finding some stretch through your spine. And then use your inhale to draw your spine up, and as you lift your spine up, lift your arms out and up overhead. As your palms come together above your head, exhale and draw them down along the center of your body, acknowledging yourself for being present in your practice, and acknowledging anyone else that you're practicing with. Namaste.